moved to China because you told yourself it was an opportunity. That's what you called it when you explained it to your mom on the phone. An opportunity. A chance to grow, to see the world. She went quiet for a moment and then said, "Okay, just be safe." You said you would. You both knew the conversation was really about something else. About the fact that back home, you'd been sitting in the same bedroom for 8 months, sending out resumes into a void that never responded. About the fact that your friends had quietly moved into marriages and mortgages and lives that no longer had room for you in them. About the fact that you'd started eating dinner at 5 p.m. just to give the evening something to do. So you apply for a teaching position in Changdu. You get it in 3 days, which should have told you something about how selective they were, but you called it fate. You land at Changdu International Airport with 2 suitcases, a carry-on, and the specific kind of confidence that only exists before reality has had a chance to introduce itself. Welcome to Chengdu. Population 21 million. Number of people waiting for you, 0. Your apartment is in Wuhou district. The school arranged it, which means you had no say in it, which means it is exactly as depressing as you'd expect a room selected by someone who has never had to live in it. The walls are white in the way that hospitals are white. Not clean, just empty. The furniture is brown and bolted down looking, the kind of furniture that exists purely to fill space rather than support life. There is one window. It faces another building close enough that you can see the flicker of someone else's television at night. The apartment costs 2,800 yuan a month, roughly $380, which your school deducts directly from your salary, so you never actually hold the money. You stand in the middle of the room on your first night, with your suitcases still zipped, and you think, this is it. This is the adventure. Then you sit on the edge of the bed and say nothing, because there is no one to say anything to. The first week is logistics. You need a Chinese SIM card, but to get one you need your passport, your residence permit, and a patience for bureaucratic processes that were clearly designed by someone who had never been confused and tired at the same time. You need a bank account, but the bank requires documents your school hasn't given you yet. You need WeChat Pay or Alipay for almost everything, but setting those up requires a bank account you don't have yet. Everything is circular. Everything requires something you don't have to get the thing you need. You eat at the convenience store downstairs for 4 days straight. Rice triangles and instant noodles, and a hot dog on a stick that you can't identify but keep buying because it's 3 yuan, and you know exactly where to find it. The woman at the register starts to recognize you. She doesn't smile. She doesn't frown. She just scans your items and tells you the total in Mandarin, and you hand over a 100 yuan note, and she gives you change, and that is the most human interaction you have on most days. You start to look forward to it. That should worry you, but you're too tired to be worried. The loneliness doesn't arrive like a storm. It seeps in, like water under a door. You don't notice it until you're already standing in it. It starts with small things. You cook dinner and realize you made too much rice because you still haven't adjusted to cooking for one. You laugh at something on your phone and then look up to share it with someone, and there is no one to look up at. Just the white wall. Just the window with someone else's television flickering. You start talking to yourself. Not the healthy kind of self-talk, the kind where you narrate your own actions out loud just to hear a voice in the room. You say things like, "Okay, where did I put that?" And, "All right, let's see." And after a while, you realize you're doing it not because you're forgetful, but because the silence has started to feel like a presence. Like something sitting in the corner of the room, watching you. Talking fills it, even your own voice, even nothing words. You call your mom on a Sunday. She asks how it's going. You say, "Great, it's really interesting here." She says, "That's wonderful." Your dad calls from the background, asks if there's good food. You say, "Yes, the food is incredible." He says, "Great." The call lasts 11 minutes. After you hang up, you sit with the phone in your hand for a while and try to figure out why you feel worse than before you called. The teaching job is at a private language school in the Xinjiang district. You teach 8 classes a day, each one 40 minutes, each one a different group of children between the ages of 6 and 12 who have been told that English is important for their future. They are well behaved in the way that children are well behaved when they are slightly afraid of disappointing someone. They call you teacher, not your name, teacher. Your Chinese colleagues are polite in the way that keeps a specific distance. They smile and they help you find the printer and they explain where the bathrooms are, and then they return to their own conversations in Mandarin that you can't follow. You stand at the edge of the staff room sometimes and listen to the rhythm of a language that has no room for you in it, and feel something that isn't quite invisibility, but is close enough. After school, everyone disappears. You take the metro home, line 3 to line 1. You stand in a car packed with people and feel completely, utterly alone. Not sad alone, the other kind. The kind where you look around at all the lives pressing up against you and understand that not one of them knows you exist. You are a ghost in a city of 21 million people, haunting a metro line, going home to a white room. There is a park near your apartment, Renmin Park. You go there on weekends because the apartment starts to feel like a box you've been sealed inside. Old men play chess near the entrance. Women practice fan dancing by the lake. Children chase pigeons. Couples sit on benches close enough together that the space between them looks like a language. You buy a cup of tea from a cart near the pavilion and sit on a bench and watch all of it and feel the specific cruelty of being surrounded by life and being entirely outside of it. You are not participating. You are observing. And after a while, observing starts to feel like its own kind of loneliness. The loneliness of the watcher, the person who is always on the outside of the frame, looking in. You open your phone, you scroll, you close your phone, you look at the lake, you open your phone again. You are 7,000 miles from anyone who would notice if you didn't come back from this bench. Month 3. You have stopped calling it an adventure. You call it what it is now, which is your life. This is your life. The white walls, the bolted furniture, the convenience store rice triangles, the children who call you teacher, the metro, the park, the bench, the phone, the flickering television in the window across the way. You've started leaving the TV on when you sleep. Not to watch it, just for the noise. Just so the room isn't silent. You fall asleep to a channel you can't understand, and wake up to a channel you can't understand. And in between, there are dreams you can't explain to anyone, because there is no one to explain them to. You talk to Kenji. Kenji is a small green plant you bought at a flower market in your 2nd month, because the apartment felt like it needed something living in it. You paid 15 yuan for him. You named him because naming things makes them yours. You tell him about your day while you water him. You tell him the kids were loud today. You tell him you think your coworker Wei is starting to warm up to you because she asked where you were from and actually waited for the answer. You tell Kenji that you're fine. He doesn't respond, but he also doesn't leave. In month 3, that counts. The thing nobody tells you about loneliness in a foreign country is that it has a texture. It's not the clean, cinematic kind where you cry at a beautiful sunset and feel poetically sad. It's duller than that. It lives in the hour after dinner when the dishes are done and there's nothing between you and the silence. It lives in the Sunday mornings when the whole city seems to be doing something with someone and you are lying on your bed watching the ceiling. It lives in the moment you reach for your phone to tell someone something and scroll through your contacts and realize there is nobody to call who would understand what you would even be calling about. You made one friend. His name is Marcus, a South African teacher at a different school across the city. You met in a WeChat expat group and got dumplings twice. He is leaving in 2 months to go back to Cape Town because his mother is ill. He is the only person in this city who knows your last name. When he tells you he's leaving, you say, "Congratulations, that's great. Give your mom my best. You go home and sit next to Kenji and don't say anything for a long time. But here's the thing about silence, the thing you learn slowly, then all at once. It starts to change you. Not break you, change you. You stop needing noise to feel okay. You stop performing for rooms that aren't watching. You stop narrating your loneliness, even to yourself. You start to sit with it. And when you sit with it long enough, it stops being loneliness and starts being something else. Solitude, maybe. The difference is small and enormous at the same time. You start writing things down, not for anyone, just to put them somewhere outside your head. You write about the old men playing chess, about the woman who scans your rice triangles without smiling, about Kenji, about the way Changdu smells after rain, like wet stone and something frying somewhere. You write badly. You don't care. There is no one to read it, and there is something quietly powerful about creating something that no one will ever see. Something that exists only because you needed it to. Month 5. You walk home from school on a Tuesday and stop at a noodle shop you've passed 40 times without going in. You point at the picture on the menu. The woman behind the counter says something in Sichuan dialect you don't understand. You say, 对，谢谢. She nods. She brings you a bowl of dan dan noodles that makes your eyes water from the chili and your heart hurt a little from the warmth of it. You eat alone at a plastic table, but this time the alone feels different. It feels chosen. It feels like yours. You finish the bowl. You order another. The woman behind the counter refills your tea without being asked. She doesn't know your name. You don't know hers. But she refilled your tea. In a city of 21 million strangers, that is a thread. And some days, a thread is enough to keep you from floating away entirely. You don't become okay all at once. You become okay in small, unremarkable increments. A bowl of noodles, a plant that survived, a notebook half full of things nobody asked for, a city that doesn't know you but holds you anyway, in its noise and its crowds and its 5 a.m. delivery trucks and its old men and its lake and its rain. You still talk to Kenji, you probably always will, but you've stopped waiting for the city to make room for you. You started making room for yourself. And some mornings, you wake up before the alarm, and the room is quiet, and the window shows a sky turning orange over the building across the way, and you lie there in the silence and feel something you can only describe as okay. Not happy, not transformed, not found. Just okay. In a city that owes you nothing. And for now, that's everything.